Tongues began to wag in Hobbiton and Bywater, and old Ham Gamgee, commonly known as the Gaffer, held forth at the Ivy Bush, a small inn on the Bywater road. And he spoke with some authority, for he had tended the garden at Bag End for 40 years, and had helped old Holman in the same job before that. Now that he was himself growing old and stiff in the joints, the job was mainly carried on by his youngest son, Sam Gamgee. Both father and son were on very friendly terms with Bilbo and Frodo. They lived on the hill itself in number 3 Bagshot Row, just below Bag End. A very nice, well-spoken, gentle hobbit is Mr. Bilbo, as I've always said, the Gaffer declared with perfect truth, for Bilbo was very polite to him, calling him Master Handpast, and consulting him constantly upon the growing of vegetables. In the matter of roots, especially potatoes, the Gaffer was recognised as the leading authority by all in the neighbourhood, including himself. "But what about this Frodo that lives with him?" asked old Noakes of Bywater. "Baggins is his name, but he's more than half a brandy-buck, they say. It beats me why any Baggins of Hobbiton should go looking for a wife away there in Buckland, where folks are so queer." "And no wonder they're queer," put in Daddy Two-Foot, the Gaffer's next-door neighbour. "If they live on the wrong side of the Brandywine River, and right agin the old forest, that's a dark bad place if half the tales be true." "You're right, Dad," said the Gaffer. "Not that the Brandybucks of Buckland live in the old forest, but they're a queer breed seemingly. They fool about with boats on that big river, and they ain't natural. Small wonder that trouble came of it, I say. But be that as it may, Mr. Frodo is a nice young hobbit as you could ever wish to meet, very much like Mr. Bilbo, and in more than looks. After all, his father was a Baggins. A decent, respectable hobbit was Mr. Drogo Baggins. There was never much to tell of him till he was drownded." "Drownded?" said several voices. They had heard this and other darker rumours before, of course, but hobbits have a passion for family history, and they were ready to hear it again. "Well, so they say," said the Gaffer. "You see, Mr. Drogo, he married poor Miss Pyrmla Brandybuck. She was our Mr. Bilbo's first cousin on his mother's side, her mother being the youngest of the old Took's daughters, and Mr. Drogo was his second son, so Mr. Frodo is his first and second cousin, once removed either way, as the saying is, if you follow me. And Mr. Drogo was staying at Brandy Hall with his father-in-law, old Master Gorbodoc, as he often did after his marriage, him being partial to the victuals and old Gorbodoc keeping a mighty generous table. And he went out boating on the Brandywine River. He and his wife were drownded, and poor Mr. Frodo, only a child and all. I've heard said they went on the water after dinner in the moonlight," old Noak said, "and it was Drogo's weight as sunk the boat." "And I heard she pushed him in, and he pulled her in after him," said Sandyman, the Hobbiton miller. "You shouldn't listen to all you hear, Sandyman," said the Gaffer, who did not much like the miller. "There's no call to go talking of pushing and pulling. Boats are quite tricky enough for those that sit still without looking further for the cause of trouble. Anyway, there was this Mr. Frodo, left and orphaned and stranded, as you might say, among those queer Bucklanders, being brought up anyhow in Brandy Hall, a regular warren by all accounts. Old Master Gorbodoc never had a fewer than a couple of 100 relations in the place. Mr. Bilbo never did a kinder deed than when he brought the lad back to live among decent folk. But I reckon it's a nasty shock for those Sackville Bagginses. They thought they were going to get Bag End that time he went off and was thought to be dead. And then he comes back and orders them off, and he goes on living and never looking a day older, bless him. And suddenly he produces an heir, and has all the papers made out proper. The Sackville Bagginses won't never see the inside of Bag End now, or it's to be hoped not." From The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, Chapter 1.